Hello, YouTubians, my friends all around the world. This is Del Rugby PM, The Golden Rule, Russ Sandlin. I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about taxes. Not Texas, but taxes. As an American working out of the country, I had to file, and I had to pay quite a bit as well. I mean, not as much as if I was in Texas, but I do have to pay taxes. There's a few things that you need to be aware about. So let's go through the two major things that you had to be aware of. The first thing is the FBAR responsibility. An FBAR is a financial document you need to file every year if you have any money in banks outside of the United States. Really, you need to be safe and do it even if you've only got $5,000, because if there's any question, you can have a huge fine of $10,000 per incident. And the second thing you need to be aware of is FATCA. FATCA is a government law that came out in 2010 that makes all banks around the world, yes, even Russia and North Korea comply with this, reporting any bank accounts Americans have around the planet to the United States IRS. Yes, every country in the world reports how much money you have. So if you have any money, even a cent, the U.S. government and the IRS knows it. And if you don't file tax reports with that information and have it be 100% the same, you can get fined for that as well. So FATCA and FBARs are things you don't want to mess around with if you don't want to lose your passport, go to jail, or get hefty fines. I am not kidding you. Those are all the things that the United States government can do to you. Okay, so the IRS has a site that talks about the Foreign Bank and Financial Account, FBAR, report. So basically, every year under the law known as the Bank Secrecy Act, you must report certain foreign financial accounts, such as bank accounts, brokerage accounts. Yeah, that would include brokerage accounts that have your bitcoins, your coins of any other kind of nature, as long as that company like Coinbase, where you have your wallet, also deals in US dollars or anything like Euro dollars, you got to report that because it's going to be getting an FBAR report against you. Mutual funds, anything where you own anything, property, money, savings, you had to report it. You had to apply an FBAR. You had to file it. And if you have any money over $10,000 at any point in time during the calendar year, it must be reported or you're going to get a penalty. So lucky for my friends at the deed, if you have something on the credit union and you're out the deed, you are exempt from this. So anything that's maintained on a U.S. military facility is exempt. So also, if you have an IRA that you own or you're a beneficiary of, you can be exempted as well. But you also don't need to file an FBAR if all your financial reports are consolidated into an FBAR already under something else. I'm not sure how that kind of works. That's why I have an accountant. If all your foreign financial accounts are jointly owned with your spouse and you completed the FinCEN, the Financial Security Form 11A, authorizing your spouse to file on your behalf, you can be exempted that way as well. So the FBARs are due on April 15th, just like our taxes. But you get an automatic extension till October 15th, which is kind of nice. And you file under the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network e-filing system. So it's a serious thing. And it wasn't enforced until about 2010. But if you don't file, they can throw you in jail. They can fine you $10,000 per incident and up to 100% of what you didn't file. Like if you had $50,000 offshore, they can charge $50,000 in fees for every year you didn't file. I mean, that's some serious stuff right there. So you're better off just filing it. You're just better off getting an accountant and filing, or if you're a real cowboy, you can do it on your own. Me, I pay somebody to do it for me. So let's go on. So that's the FBAR. So the FBARs were originally designed to go after those kingpins like you read about or watch on Netflix, those financial drug kingpins, kind of like going after Capone back in the day. So that's what it was up until 2010. And then some folks in the U.S. government thought, well, let's go after some of these fat cats and everybody who works offshore and get some of that money. So let's really start enforcing now these FBARs, which they started to do. And if you are filing offshore, if you have any money offshore whatsoever, then the foreign governments are reporting it to the U.S. Treasury Department, who then informs the U.S. IRS. So you can't get away with it. I mean, maybe for a year or two, you might fall under the radar, but sooner or later, you will get caught. So take it from me. You need to get an accountant. There's a bunch of good ones offline. I've gone with some cheap ones that didn't get me very far. In fact, I had to get one guy disbarred because he messed me up so bad. And now I'm really happy with the guy I have now. I spent a lot of money, though. I spent $2,500 a year to get it right, but it's well worth it. Okay, moving on to the second part of this this video, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, otherwise known as FATCA. So this was an act that was passed, gosh, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago as well. Maybe 10 years ago, because I've been filing them for about 10 years now, maybe 12 years. So basically, FATCA is something that you must report every year. If you don't, it's going to be reported for you. And if you don't file in the IRS and somebody else does, another foreign company, foreign government does, you're toast. So you go to the BSA e-filing system under the Financial Crimes Enforcement System Network. And you click on it and it gives you some news and it gives you a file your FBAR right now. So you just click on that and you can do it. Me, I tried a few times, and to be honest with you, I just went with my accountant instead just to keep it nice because I had racked up over $200,000 in fines over the years. Thank God I paid it all off, and I'm all caught up on most of my taxes up and through most of 2020, but it's been a real struggle for me, and it's important that you file. So again, if you go to the IRS site, under the IRS, they've got a Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act page, and it talks about all the things that you need to do. You need to register and all that good stuff. It also talks about how the government deals with it, and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail. But the bottom line is you're required to report your bank holdings offshore if it's over $10,000 in any given point of the year, whether it's taxes, or I'm sorry, whether it's a savings account, if it's what else? If you own property, if you own Bitcoins, whatever you have, any kind of financial instrument, you need to report it if it crosses over $10,000 at any point in the year offshore. Otherwise, the U.S. government's going to know about it, and you're going to be audited, and you're going to have hefty fines and fees, if not worse. Okay, let's just skip to what could happen to you if you don't do a FATCA filing. Failure to report foreign financial assets on Form 8938 may result in a penalty of $10,000 and a penalty of up to $50,000 for continued failure after IRS notification. So IRS is notified by the other governments, not you. So you're not going to get away with it. Just get an accountant and file, because if you don't, you could be penalized up to $50,000. And the government is not nice. They will do it. There's also criminal penalties. It doesn't say here, but it does say in other places they can take away, and they will take away your passport and not allow you to fly, and put a flag on your passport. And the second you land, there will be nice guys with handcuffs waiting for you at LaGuardia or wherever you land. So just don't mess around. Get a good person, if you're making money offshore, to do your taxes for you, and to be compliant with FATCA and to be compliant with your FBARs. So that's my video for today. Basically, if you are working out of the United States, you need to get an accountant. It's just not worth messing around. Unless you're really good at being an accountant yourself, you need to hire somebody. I got a guy, so if you want to PM me, I'll let you know who he is. And this is the third person I've gone through. The first two really got me in more trouble than I could ever imagine. And I tried to file myself, and it just... I messed up. I completely messed it up. So at this point, I've got a guy that I really like, and I'll put it down here in the notes. But it's pro-tax out of New York City, guy named Mark. I'll introduce you to Mark if you want to find out more about how you can stay out of jail and take advantage of the tax credits you have as an American working offshore, because you actually do make a bit of savings. It actually saves you some taxes, which is a good thing. But it can land you in jail or it costs you a lot of money if you don't file correctly.